I'm going to do something a bit different today, guys. I've been getting a bunch of intuitive nudges to change up what I'm doing, which is great because I listen to them, the intuitive nudges, I listen to them, and I hope that if you get them, you also listen to them. So today, I want to talk about some different stuff, some deep stuff that I don't normally talk about. I want to connect with you guys on some vulnerable subjects here. Before I get into exactly what we're going to talk about, if you find any value from my show, all I ask is that you guys share it, like it, leave a review, and help, right? Like, that's your payment, okay? We do this for free. We have a team that produces this show, and we put a lot of time into putting this stuff out and together. And your payment to us, if you laugh at anything I say, if you connect with anything that I say, if you find value in anything that I say, is to like it, share it, and leave a review. That's it. It will take you 10 seconds to do every single one of them. All right, so pay up. Speaking of paying up, we're going to talk about how I felt this morning. I woke up this morning at 6 o'clock, my alarm went off, and I just questioned what I was doing. And not just waking up, I'm talking about life. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why is this happening? I'm exhausted. I'm beat up. I'm exhausted. I've been going hard for too many years to count. And I've lost count. I've been saying 14 years. I think it's technically 13. Like, I'm going into my 14th year. I don't know. I've lost count. I think in 2008 is when I started. And that's 13 years ago. So I'm going into my 14th year of going hard. And we're going to talk about those 14 years a little bit later in the show. And I want to really talk about my thought process this morning. And the reason why I talk about this thought process this morning is because I want you to be able to understand that everyone that you idolize, like everyone, movie stars, Instagram people, social media famous people that you think are perfect and have their shit figured out, don't. I don't. And we wake up and question everything, including why we're doing what we're doing. And I laid there in bed questioning what was going on. And the reason why I explain this story is because often when I speak to people, they think I'm like invincible. They think like I don't have negative thoughts, or I don't wake up and not want to get out of bed. And I get it, because I'm the one that will put the curriculum together to teach you to get out of bed. So I was like, I have conversations with people often, including my students and clients, and they're like, well, Chris, we look up to you because you get out of bed every morning. Yeah, most of the time I get right out of bed. And sometimes I don't. Probably count on one or two hands throughout the year. But this morning I just felt like shit. Not sick, just exhausted. Just tired. Fucking tired. I slept from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. straight. No interruptions. Exhausted. It's not the quality of sleep. It's just from going hard for so long. And maybe not seeing what I deem to be fruitful for 14 years or almost 14 years of working hard. And I had to change my thought process. So I literally used on myself what I teach everyone to get themselves out of bed, which was shift my thought process. And I was just really didn't want to get out of bed, and I just wanted to roll back over. And I just didn't want to do anything this morning. I just wanted to lay in bed. And I got myself out of bed. And I started getting into my morning routine and so on and so forth. And, I realized that even though I was going to be a little behind throughout the day, it's still better than not getting up and not facing the day and not dealing with everything that needs to be dealt with. And the irony is, several hours later, I had a fantastic phone call with a new client that I'm going to be working with. And it really kind of like changes the perspective of, I'm several hours prior to that questioning what the hell I'm doing because I'm fucking tired, to getting the reinforcement that the universe wants to deliver to me to why I'm here. And when you ask for things, it gets delivered. I tell you this story because if you have those thoughts when you get out of bed in the morning, you're not alone. Not at all. And it happens, even to the best of us, even to the people you look up to. We're normal. We put our shoes on the same way. We shit on our hands. We make mistakes. And sometimes we don't want to get out of bed. But the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is, somewhere along the way, is successful people will invest enough into themselves to figure out how to change their thought process in that moment, to get out of bed and to do what needs to be done, even exhausted. And if every morning you wake up and you have that thought that I don't want to get out of bed, or I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I don't want to do anything, you got to invest in yourself to figure out how to change those thoughts, because that's the answer. Regardless if you want to live a normal life, a successful life, or anything more than not getting out of bed. But we all go through it. And if you go through it, you're not alone. Speaking of not being alone, I want to talk about some really contradicting things when it comes to views of people. All right. And long story short, I want to talk about flexing, okay? And I want to talk about the correlation of flexing, especially on social media, to what is real flexing and what is not, and the correlation to, say, the news. So the situation that I'm going to use here is what I'm talking to you, everyone watching, what you think is successful on social media, especially of the younger generation, the end of the millennials, mid-20s. Let's use the mid-20s. Mid-20s, late 20s, let's say 20s, early to late 20s. What you see on social media of these fucking idiots flexing next to their Huracan, which, if you don't know, is a Lamborghini, in their mansions. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's fake. It's fake in one of two ways. Three ways. A, it's rented. It's an Airbnb and it's an exotic car rental company. B, it's financed completely. Completely mortgage broke, completely car broke. Saying they're millionaires. They're not. They're not. They might make $100,000. Okay. How does one know that? Okay. One that has been there can recognize it. Okay. Wealth recognizes wealth. Class recognizes class. Money recognizes money. And not to digress completely, but if someone like me, an 8-figure entrepreneur, said I was a 9-figure entrepreneur, saying I've made $100 million or more to $900 million, 100 to $900 million. Okay? If I were to say that, and an actual 9-figure entrepreneur listened to me or read my content, they'd be like, fake, not true. Because it recognizes, it's recognizable. All right? So what I'm saying is, that person on social media that you look up to, that's young, that has a Huracan and a mansion, it's either rented, it's financed completely. They have no money. It goes to the mansion and it goes to the car. They don't have money. They're living payment to payment. Okay? Those are your primary ways rather than being given. There are trust fund babies. There are people that are given wealth. All right? Now, the correlation to the news is, same as the news, what you're being fed, you think is real. Okay? The news isn't real, people. These mid-20-year-old girls and guys, especially on socials, flexing hard with their Huracan and their mansion. It's not. Okay? That's not a real flex. All right? It's not a real fucking flex. They just started in whatever business they're doing. They're selling some horse shit course for $9.99 saying get rich quick when they're depending on that $999 payment from you and your friends to pay for their Huracan. Okay? Whether it's rented or it's financed to the nose. You guys got to stop falling for this fucking bullshit. It's not the watch on your wrist. It's not the car that you're driving. All right? You want to talk about real flex? Let's talk about real flex. And I'll use one of my stories for you. Okay? How about living in a 580 square foot house? 580 square foot house in the ghetto. Okay? For 7 years. My mortgage payment was $600. $600. Okay? Which allowed me to have $30,000 a month in payroll. 30 fucking grand a month in payroll. A $7,000 rent note for my 20,000 square foot building. Okay? For those of you doing math, we're almost at 40 grand a month just with payroll and rent. And it keeps going. Now let's not talk about all the other miscellaneous expenses. Let's talk about, I could have lived in a 10,000 square foot mansion with a fucking Rolls Royce in the driveway. Why? Just to be like these fucking idiots on Instagram playing fake entrepreneur to fool you into thinking I was doing well? No. No. The real flex is living below your means and putting in the motherfucking work. Well, I'll just be even more vulnerable for you. I live in a 1,700 square foot house. 1,700 square foot house. Okay? My mortgage payment is small. Why? So I can run a big staff. Yeah, I've had a Porsche in the driveway. And the car that's in the driveway now is equally as expensive. But it's not the point. It's not the watch. It's not the car. It's living below your means. I've been in business for 13 fucking years. And every day I see these people that play entrepreneur, that are fake, that are flexing just to take your money. That's not what it's about, guys. You gotta stop falling for this bullshit, okay? Just like you gotta stop thinking that these same people are invincible and they're Superman, because they're not. And even if they are successful, They wake up and question what the fuck is going on from time to time. And the real flex is showing up every single day. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. The people that I look up to have been doing it since 1977. The other guy I look up to has been in business for 24 years. I'm at year 13 in a 1,700 square foot house, living below my means. Just like when I lived in a 580 square foot house, living below my means. Why? To save money, to invest money, to allocate money to grow for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. The flex of the Lamborghini and the mansion is horseshit, especially in the 20s. It's fake. And you think it's real because they have this big Instagram following or this big Facebook following or they have a blue check mark. It's fucking not real, people. Go out, sacrifice, live below your means, and show up every day for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Then and only then could you possibly consider yourself slightly, or these people that you value, successful. There's always going to be exceptions to what we're talking about. But falling for the majority of people that are just trying to fool you is pathetic. And if you find yourself comparing yourself to these people that are fake flexing, let me tell you something. Not only is it fake, stop counting their fucking money. Why? Because there's no money to count. I know what a Huracan fucking note costs. It's $2,500. Easy. Easy to have. Okay? If you think $2,500 is a lot for a car payment, you need to work harder. Let's actually talk about this. If you think material goals are ridiculous, that's you. They are not ridiculous. And some people actually enjoy cars, like me. I love cars. I smile when I drive cars. I like to drive fast. I like to have fun and be responsible. It doesn't mean I'm materialistic. It means that material goals for me help me and help many people that are successful, whether they show it on social media or not. What I'm saying is $2,500 car note a month is not a lot of money. It's not. A mortgage payment of $2,000, $2,500 is not a lot of money. Can it be done? Absolutely. Could you do it? Absolutely. Is it the right time to do it? No, especially if you're brand new in business. People that are playing entrepreneur. Just because you wear skinny jeans, got some high tops on, and you have a Mac computer and you show up to Starbucks, you're not an entrepreneur because of that, okay? You're playing fucking entrepreneur. And these people that you idolize because they show you doing that and they got a lot of followers and they show the Huracan sitting out there, it's fucking fake, all right? What is real is what we're discussing. And even the most successful people, even the people that you think are the most resilient, they still have mornings, just like I talked about in the beginning. And I come to you today to tell you about these things because just like the news, social media is fake as fuck. And what you're putting into your mind is fake. And what you are hearing now is real. Because some of us, and I'm sure plenty of you watching can relate to what I'm about to say, because we've lived it. And we know what is fake. So if you got anything from this show, I ask for your payment. Like it, share it, and leave a comment. That's it. I brought you the vulnerability today because it's vitally important to let the world know that even the people that are looked up to be the most resilient, have tough mornings. And if you're having tough mornings, use my story to connect to your mornings and understand you're not alone. Invest in the knowledge, whether it's investing time or investing money into understanding how to change that thought process. I really wanted to speak to you guys about this today. I waited until I had an authentic speech for it by living it. I hope you guys found some value. I'll catch you next week.